What a beautiful day to be in the lakes, and there's nobody here, partly because it's a Thursday and partly because of the COVID. I'm at the top of a thing called Silver How, just above Grasmere. So there we're looking at Dunmail Raise. That's Grasmere in the foreground, the Lake of Grasmere, and behind Rydal Water. And then panning over here in the distance we've got Windermere. In the foreground the smaller patch of water is Ulta Water. And if we look around, we are heading towards, up there, the Langdales, and the big peak, the big flat top peak. I think that's Pavey Ark, and that's one of our destinations. So today I'm doing a loop which will take me somewhere around here and here, all the way to that hill there, Helm Crag, which is also called the Lion and the Lamb. just on the way to Blue Crag after having done Silver Howe, and what a glorious day. A little bit cloudy earlier on, and now the sun's come out, and there's nobody here. I was going to say there's nobody here but there's chickens, which is a song, but in fact there's nobody here but me and the sheep. Not seen anybody apart from a few people in Grasmere earlier on. One of the joys about being self-employed, particularly when you're not that bothered about working all the time, is that you can pick and choose when you have a day off. And when the forecast is good, I'm very lucky, I can take the day off and come up to the lakes. And the lakes for me is as little as 45 minutes away, so it's very doable. I say lucky, but I've kind of designed a life that allows me to do this. It doesn't take an awful lot of money to keep me going. I live on a boat, which is very cheap, and I don't have any expensive hobbies, and so I can take days off like this, because for me freedom like this and leisure and choice is way more important than money. Absolutely. Who wouldn't want to be here on a day like this? You can see from the water there's barely a breath of wind, and we're probably, I would say, 2,000 feet up, perhaps a bit more. Fantastic. Down there, Stickle Tarn, and then that lump of rock over there is Harrison Stickle, and that's the next one to do. And then we go all the way around to that lump over there, which is Sergeant Man. So that's the trig point for high raise, and in the distance over there is Bassenthwaite, and at the bottom end of Bassenthwaite we can see bits of Keswick, and we can see Skiddaw in the distance with a bit of snow, and then over there we can see Blencathra. And in the far distance, the Solway past the hills, and over there past the Solway is Dumfries and Galloway. So I've come from all the way over there. That dramatic lump of rock is Pike of Bliscoe, which is a bit of a scramble at the top. And that, I think, is the back of Harrison Stickle. So we are going to head over there to Sergeant Map. When you're out on the hills, especially hills you don't know very well, and especially when you're on your own, like I've been today, one of the things you have to get right is navigation. And so I have a map, well, two maps in fact, because it goes, the walk I've done goes onto a second map. So I've got two maps, I've got a compass, I've got a second compass, and I've got an app on my phone called View Ranger, which links in with the GPS and downloaded maps, so I know exactly where I am all the time. Because out in the mountains, you don't want to go wrong. You don't want to start going down a hill and it suddenly becomes a cliff, and then things can get serious really quick. And I don't want to be the person calling out the mountain rescue, because I have enough to do. And walking has so many metaphors that also are true for life, especially, for example, when it comes to navigation. Our life journey is a one-way process. We're born and then we die, and we all do that. But within that precious moment of consciousness that we're given, or that we have, there could be all sorts of journeys to navigate. It could be a journey to a destination, in the sense of you might want a particular job, a particular career, you might want to live somewhere, you might want to spend your time doing a certain thing. And then other journeys might be more circular, like the journey today. My end point is the same as the start point. And so in a way for me today, the journey has been about enjoying the process, not about getting to the destination, because I was at the destination this morning. And so in life, when we set a destination, is it attainable? Is it likely we'll get to that objective that we've set? Could we identify the time when we get there? Do we have the tools to get us there? For example, if you want a certain career, then presumably you'll need a certain education, certain skills, certain exams that you've passed at certain levels, degrees, MAs, more. And sometimes when we set an objective, is it realistic? What happens if we don't get the objective that we want? Do you have a plan B? For example, if your objective is to get a Ferrari, if you can't meet that objective, would you be happy with a BMW? Or a Volkswagen Polo? Or a bicycle? So how do you do the journey? Good question. I think being realistic in setting the objectives, making sure you do everything you possibly can do within your power to meet those objectives, but also to think, well, is that objective likely to happen? Have I got the skills? Have I got the talent? It's always interesting to, one of the narratives at the moment is follow your dreams, and it sounds great. What a lovely idea. And you see examples of this on talent shows, Britain's Got Talent and all that kind of stuff, where people are there, they may have spent years doing something. It could be jumping on a trampoline, playing an instrument, singing, trying to tell jokes, anything. And they might have been told all their lives, follow your dreams. And their parents may have said, you're great, you've got a future in whatever it is you want to do. And then they get up there on the stage in front of dispassionate, objective judges, and somebody like Simon Cowell says, you're rubbish. Their world's destroyed. So try and get that balance right. Yeah, aim for the stars, but be aware of the fact that you might not get there. Have a fallback plan. What would be not perfect, but acceptable? Just a few things to think about. A few things that I've thought about as I'm walking along. My objective for today was to do a few Wainwrights I haven't done, to walk in an area where I've not really walked very much, so to fill in the mental map. Some of the Lake District I know very well, and some of the areas, like today for example, are a bit like one of those 16th century world maps where there's lots of blank space to be filled in. And one of my objectives today was to fill in a bit of that space. So for me, mission accomplished. And another objective was to become more familiar with navigating on my own without anybody to rely on, fall back upon, and just to spend time in a beautiful part of the world, having some exercise. So today for me, mission accomplished. I hope your day's been mission accomplished as well. And if it's not, and if your life isn't giving you what you want, I hope you find a way of making things better. Thanks for listening.